So today we're going to discuss about probability line. So that's our objective. Students will be able to predict the probability of chance events based on the statistical principles in data. So we can now identify the probability of chances that event will likely to happen. Okay, so that's the first definition. Probability, it is a chance that something will happen. Diba? Pag sinabi natin probability, chances. Okay, it can be shown on a line. So as you can see, there is impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, and certain. Okay, so that's our first is the probability of an event occurring is somewhere between impossible and certain. As well as words, we can use numbers to show the probability of something will likely to happen. Impossible is 0. So pag 0, meaning it is impossible to happen. Kapag 1, meaning it is certain to happen. Okay. 0, under 0 to class, events that are impossible have a probability of a 0. If you still remember the definition of our terms last week sa ating discussion, when we say impossible event, the probability that it will happen is 0, meaning it is empty set. Hindi siya pwedeng mangyari. Like here, sa example natin, rolling a 7 with a 6-sided dice. Alam natin na ang dice, it has only 6 faces. So, rolling a 7 is impossible to happen. So, an event whose probability is closer to 0 is less likely to happen. Okay, on the other side, events that are certain have a probability of 1. If you still remember the sure event, diba? Ang definition natin ng sure event, kailangan kapag pinag-add natin lahat ng probability of the corresponding outcomes, it will equal to 0. At pag sinabi nating certain, it will always happen kasi nga a sure event yon. For example, getting wet if you walk out in a downpour with no umbrella. So obviously, umuulan, wala kang dalang payong. Technically, talagang mababasa ka. So the probability of you getting wet in the scenario is 1 and it is certain to happen. Okay po, an event whose probability is closer to 1 is more likely to occur. Pag mas malapit sa 1, meaning more likely to occur. Kapag mas malapit siya sa 0, meaning it is less likely to occur. Okay, so what is the probability? What number falls in the middle of 0 and 1? So, alam na natin na kapag 0 is impossible to happen, kapag 1 naman is sure or certain to happen. Paano naman kapag in between of the 0 and 1? Okay, so that's the first review sa fractions. N over D, where our N, it gives us the total desired outcome, or this is the favorable outcome. So letter D, this is the total number of all possible outcomes. Okay, so sa percent naman, if we are going to convert the fraction to percent, we're just going to divide the numerator and the denominator. Then after that, we have to multiply it by 100 and put a percent sign. So same then, if you're going to convert a decimal into percent, we're just going to multiply the decimal by 100 and add a percent sign or put a percent sign. So next one is decimal. If we are going to convert a fraction into decimal, we're just going to simply get the quotient of numerator and the denominator. If we are going to convert the percent, a contradiction lang to class. Sa decimal, kapag convert mo ang decimal to percentage, you have to multiply it by 100. Kapag decimal naman, kino-convert mo yung percent into decimal, you are going to divide it by 100 and remove the percent sign. Okay? So, writing probability as a fractions, percent, and decimal. If you still remember class, yung sinabi ko sa inyo na, kapag probability ang hinahanap, lagi naka-percent sign unless naka-indicate sa fraction na it should be in fractions or in decimal form. Okay po? So, ganito ang gagawin natin. Kapag under the fraction, kapag 0, kapag impossible 0, kapag even chances 1/2, kapag certain 1, kapag in between ng 0 and 1/2, yan class, unlikely. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng point na nandito class, that is unlikely to happen. So, same lang din dito class. Yung greater than 1/2 but less than 1, lahat to class is likely to happen. Okay? Kapag percent sign, same process pa rin. Nakakaiba lang, nadadagan na ng percent. Tapos kino-convert natin to into percent. Kapag impossible, 0%, Kapag certain is 100%. Kapag even chance is 50%, then yung in between sa 0 and 50%, lahat ng point na nandyan class, that is considered unlikely. So, kapag greater than 1/2, but less than 100, yan, lahat yan likely. Okay? For example, 60%, considered likely. 80%, considered likely. Okay? Pag decimal naman, impossible is 0, certain is 1, even chance is 0.5 or 0.50. So, lahat ng decimal point na in between 0 and 0.5, lahat yan under ng unlikely. So, same din dun sa right side, lahat ng greater than 0.50, but less than 1, lahat ng decimal point dyan, lahat yan under ni likely. Okay? Okay, so in mathematical notation tayo. Sa impossible, let's use x to represent the random variable or the probability of event. Si impossible, x is equal to 0 under fraction. Kapag percent, x is equal to 0%. Kapag decimal, x is equal to 0. Kapag unlikely, our x should be less than 1/2 but greater than 0. Kasi nga, nasa range lang siya. Hindi tayo gumamit ng equal sign dyan, meaning hindi included si 0 tsaka si 1. Okay po? Kapag percent sign, x should be less than 50% but greater than 0%. Kapag decimal naman, our x should be less than 0.50 or 0.5 but greater than 0. Okay? Kapag even chance naman class, our x is equal at equal siya into 1/2. Kapag under ng fraction, kapag under ng percent, 50%. Kapag decimal naman, x is equal to 0.50 or 0.5. Kapag likely naman sa fraction, our x should be less than 1 but greater than 1/2. Okay, dun sa ating number line. Kuha po. Ito si 1/2. Okay, next. Kapag percent naman, our x should be less than 100% but greater than 50%. Ibig sabihin yung range, kailangan nandyan lang for us to determine na ito'y likely. Sa decimal naman, ganun din. It should be less than 1 but greater than 0.50 or 0.5. Kapag certain naman, our x is equal to 1. Sa percent naman, our x is equal to 100%. Sa decimal naman, our x is equal to 0.50 or 0.5. Okay po? So, titingin lang tayo dun sa range. Kung saan siya magpo-fall, yun yung kanyang probability line. Okay? So, example, what would be the fraction, decimal, and percent you would write to show the probability of picking in the cards of deck? First, let's review kung ano muna yung mga nasa cards of deck. Okay? So, di ba meron sa types ng card ng deck, meron tayong hearts, meron tayong clubs, meron tayong spades, and diamond. Okay? So, lahat sila may tagi-isang ace. Okay? At lahat sila may numbers 2 to 10. Okay? In terms of faces, di ba ang faces natin, meron tayong king, meron tayong jack, meron tayong queen. So, ibig sabihin, kada isang type ng cards, meron tayong tatlong faces. So, meron tayong tatlong faces bawat types ng card. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, sa hearts, meron tayong 13 na cards. Sa clubs, ganun din. Sa spades, ganun din. At sa diamond, ganun din. Meaning, if we are dealing with the card of decks, our total outcome should be 52. Kasi 52 yung total ng cards natin. Kukuha po. O, balik tayo ngayon sa question na to. What is the probability of getting ace diamond? Alam natin na si ace diamond ay nag-iisa lang sa out of 52 na cards na yan. So, yung probability na makuha natin siya is 1/52. If we convert this into decimal, we get 0.019. If we convert this into percent, we have 1.92%. You can counter-check this class on your calculator. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung may isang ace of diamond, isa lang din ang jack of clubs. Ang 2 diamonds at saka 6 spades. So, lahat sila is 1/52. Based on the instruction, ang pinapakuha sa atin is in fraction, decimal, and percent. Okay? So, lahat sila same. Kasi lahat sila, tag-iisa lang naman ang meron sa kanila sa 52 cards na yan. Okay? Okay. Now, I have an additional question. So, what if kung ang kinukuha natin is probability ng face cards or probability ng diamond. Okay? Alam natin na ang face card natin ay 3 kada isang type ng card. Kung 3 kada isang type at may 4 tayo na type ng card, so meron tayong 12 faces out of 52. This is our total outcome. So meron na tayong 12/52 sa face of cards. Sa diamond, alam natin na ang diamond ay may ace, may numbers 2 to 10, at may 3 faces. Dahil or yan class, dahil or ang ating pinag-uusapan, meaning union, addition, combination. Ibig sabihin, lahat sila pinagsasama natin. Kung ito-drawing natin to sa Venn diagram, class, alam natin na ito yung face ng cards, ito yung diamonds. Okay? So, sa face ng cards, meron tayong hearts, meron tayong clubs, at meron tayong spades. Hindi natin ilalagay dyan si diamond. Kasi si diamond sa face ng cards at saka yung probability ng diamonds ay intersection nila. So, intersection ng dalawa, yung face, diamond. I don't know kung tama ba yung term ko, class. Okay? So, ito yung intersection nila. Kaya, ang gagawin natin is, instead of 13 out of 52, ang ilalagay na lang natin dyan, class, is 10 out of 52. Hindi na natin nilagay si face card ng diamond kasi intersection nila. Di ba pag union, ibig sabihin lahat to kasama na. So, yung face ng card yung diamond sa face ng cards at yung diamond sa eto class, ang count natin ay isa lang. Kukuha. So, 12 plus 10 is 22 out of 52. Simplify natin to. We get 11 out of 26. Multiply it by 100 kasi after tayo sa probability, sa percent sign. So, we get 42.31%. So, meaning, ito yung peaking. Ito yung probability na makuha natin sila. 42.31%. Okay? Sa pag-solve ng word problem, the first thing that you are going to do is to analyze what you are looking for and what you have. Okay? Ano yung gagawin mong proseso? You have to think muna bago kayo mag-solve. Okay po? Para hindi sayang yung pag-solve natin, diba? Nasa huli na tayo ng pag-solve tapos mali pala. Okay po? So, analyze first, then after you analyze, tingnan mo kung anong given mo sa problem, ano yung gagawin mo sa problem. Okay? Kasi kapag alam mo yung gagawin mo at alam mo yung given mo, madali na lang. Okay? Let's have more example. Identify whether the following statement is impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, and certain. So, meron tayong mga given na statement. Okay? The first one is the sun will rise tomorrow. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin siya generally, as Earth, as a whole, there is, certain siya na mangyayari. Okay? Hindi man sa atin, or may specific na lugar sa sa Earth natin na hindi nadadaanan ng araw. So, may party pa rin ng Earth na the sun will rise. Nakako po. Kaya this is certain. Okay? It will rain tomorrow. Kahit hindi uulan sa atin, there is a probability of or certainty na nangyayari yun sa ibang lugar. Okay po? So, pag nag-a-analyze kayo ng statement na ganito class, hindi nyo lang titingnan yung current situation natin or yung sa atin lang. I-a-analyze nyo sa as kabuuan. Okay? Third, if I flip a coin, it will land heads up. So, kapag nag-flip kayo ng coin, alam natin na head or tail lang ang lalabas. So, meaning, 50% na head ang lumabas, mayroon ding 50% na tail ang lumabas. So, saan tayo mag-fall out? Doon sa even chance. 50-50. So, pwede yung isa, pwede naman yung isa. Parang pass or failed. Ganun. So, ang outcome mo, dalawa lang. So, pag dalawa lang yung outcome mo, edi 50-50 chance yung pwede mo silang makuha. Number 4, choosing a red ball from a bag with 1 red and 3 green. So, ang outcome mo is meron ka daw isang red, meron kang 3 green. So, therefore, meron kang 4 balls. Ang favorable outcome mo o yung kinukuha mo lang na probability is red. So, ilan ba ang red mo? Isa lang. So, 1/4. Bakit 4? Kasi yung total outcome mo. Kung nahihirapan kang tingnan or ma-visualize saan ba nagpo-fall out si 1/4 in fraction form, convert mo sa decimal. So, if you convert 1/4 into decimal, you will get 0.25. Okay? Or sa percent, 25%. So, meaning, nandito siya sa range ang less than 1/2. Okay? Then, greater than 0. So, meaning, ito yung unlikely to happen. Okay? Obviously talaga, class, unlikely to happen to. Unlikely ang sagot natin dyan. Kasi nga, isa lang naman yung red, tas 3 green. So, pagpipilian mo, kung titignan mo yung problem, napakadali talagang makita na unlikely to happen siya. Hindi siya pwede maging impossible kasi pwede itong mangyari. Mababa nga lang yung probability na makuha natin yung red. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag nag-solve tayo ng word problem, hindi lang basta analyzation, meron din tayong solving. Okay po? So, analyze carefully. Okay, remember, the probability of an event, let me change the color of my pen. The probability of an event will not be less than 0. This is because 0 is impossible, sure that something will not happen. Kaya nga siya 0 eh. Kasi nga wala. Hindi talaga siya mangyayari. The probability of an event will not be more than 1. This is because 1 is certain and that something will happen. Diba? According to our properties ng probability discrete random class, diba? Ang sabi natin, ang probability of event natin, which is si x, or yung random variable natin na si x, should be less than or equal to 1, but greater than or equal to 0. Naka-confine lang sila kay 0 tsaka kay 1. Hindi sila pwedeng maging less than, hindi sila pwedeng maging greater than. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga commercial na sinasabi nila na 101% na wala ng bacteria, kaya may ganyan. So, dapat hindi kayo naniniwala dun kasi alam nyo na ang 1 is certain or 1 is certain or 100%. So, ibig sabihin, walang 101% nakukuha po. Kaya, di ba, ano bang patalastas ang sinasabi nila is 99.9%? So, yun, safe sila doon. Okay? So, let's have more example. Example number 1. Which of the arrows A, B, C, or D shows the best position on the probability line for the event tomorrow it will snow in Hawaii? Unang gagawin nyo, tatanungin nyo yung sarili nyo, yung Hawaii ba ay nagkakaroon ng snow? Anong type ng country ang Hawaii? Okay? So, ang Hawaii ay class is a tropical country. So, therefore, unlikely. Pero, titingin kayo dito, class, sa image nyo, saan ba yung pinaka-the best answer? Si A, B, or C, or D? Mas malapit si A kay 0. Kasi, it is unlikely or impossible to happen. impossible na mag-snow sa Hawaii, ang pinaka-the best answer natin is si A kasi siya yung pinakamalapit kay 0. Hindi si B, si A kasi siya yung pinakamalapit, and that's the best answer for example number 1. Let's have example number 2. A 50 centavos coin and a 10 centavos coin are tossed together. Which of the arrows A, B, C, or D shows the position on the probability line for the event both coins lands tails up? Ang una niyong gagawin is illustration. You have a 50 centavo coin and a 10 centavo coin. Kapag tinos natin yan, alam natin na meron tayong 4 outcomes. Pwedeng pag-toss mo, both of them are heads, or either of them are head or tail or head. Pwede ang head mo si 50 cents, tapos ang tail si 10 centavos, or pwede naman ang tail mo si 50 centavos, tapos ang head mo si 10 centavos. Or pwede naman dalawa silang tail. Okay? Ngayon, ang tanong lang naman, both coins lands tails up. So, kung makikita nyo, isa lang yung chance out of 4 na both the coin will toss together and it will land 2 tails. Okay? So, the answer is letter B based on the image. Ayan ang arrow. Nakaturo siya kay 1/4. So, the best answer is B. Okay? Let's have number 3. A name is chosen at a random from a telephone book. Which of the arrows A, B, C, or D shows the best position on the probability line for the event the name begins with C? Diba, pag nagpapangalan tayo, or yung mga magulang natin, very unusual yung letter Z. Bibihira ang magkaroon ng pangalan na nagsastart sa letter Z. So, kung titingnan natin itong diagram or itong probability line na to, class, the best answer would be letter A because it is unlikely to occur. And A is malapit siya kay 0. Okay? Hindi naman natin sinasabi na impossible siyang mangyari, but unlikely na nangyayari. The best answer is A. Okay? Siyempre, kung titingin ka ng telephone book, mas mataas na, may chance na makakita ka ng ibang letters. Kasi for example, letter A, letter B, letter C, yun yung mga common name eh. Nagsastart sa letter A, B, C, or and so on and so forth. So, sa letter Z, kukunti lang yan. At saka, at the same time, sa pinakadulo pa silang telephone book, kukuha po. So, unlikely. Okay, next. A number is chosen at a random from a single-digit number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Which of the arrows A, B, C, or D shows the best position, laging best position on the probability line for the event the numbers is prime? First thing that you're going to do, identify what is a prime. Alam natin ang prime number is greater than 1. At ang kanyang factors is 1 and itself. Okay? Si 1 is not a prime kasi special number to class. Si 0 is just a starting point or yung natural number. Okay? So, ang natira na lang si 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, alam mo natin na si 2, ang factor niya lang ay 1 at sarili niya. Si 3, ganun din. Si 5, ganun din. At saka si 7. So, ibig sabihin, ang prime number natin ay si 2, si 3, si 5, at si 7. At yung natitira na si 4, si 6, at si 9, yung tatlong yan, they are composite number. Ibig sabihin, more than 2 yung factors nila. Hindi lang sarili nila yung factors nila. Okay? Like for example, yung 4. 1 times 4, 2 times 2. So more than 2. Hindi lang si 4 at saka si 1 yung factor nila, merong ding iba. Okay? So, kung ayun yung titingnan natin sa prime, so meron tayong 4, ang favorable outcome natin ay 4, ang total number of outcome natin ay 10. Kung nahihirapan kayong tingnan yung 4 over 10, you can convert this into fraction, which is equal to 0.4. Alam natin na si 0.4 ay malapit kay 0.5. Kung titingnan natin itong probability line na to, alam natin na ang the best answer is letter B. Kasi siya yung pinakamalapit kay 1/2. Ito si 0.5. Okay, so the best answer is letter B. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. Thank you for listening. So if you have any question, you can comment down below. And that's it. Thank you for listening.